Welcome back, everyone. As some of you might notice that I made some changes to my channel. It's a long story. Maybe I'll make a video about it someday and give you all the details. But it's a fresh start. I figure, the old videos, pretty much that people don't go back and watch them anyways. Just taking up space. And there were some other reasons as well. But what I wanted to touch upon today, the topic of the day, is that where we are right now. Now, and what would have helped the situation if things were different? Okay? Now, this goes before the pandemic that we had 3 years ago. Now, this gradually was getting to the point where we are right now, with the difference that we did get a break for 4 years. We did get a little break, but it only lasted for 4 years. But I believe, in my opinion, that the start of it was in 2008. That's when we've seen a lot of the foreclosed homes. People were losing their homes. There were a lot of foreclosures. I think that was the starting point right there. And gradually, through the years, it was getting just a little more and more of a drama over the years. And all the way, let's say, up to 2015 or 2016, and people were looking for some kind of break or alternative when it came to jobs. A lot of jobs were going overseas. They were paying too much here. Some of them were moving out of state, but it wasn't as a big of a deal as it is now, where a lot of the companies moved from California and they went to Texas. But yeah, that was still happening, but not to the scale that we see now, with big, giant, multi-billion-dollar companies nowadays. But gradually things were getting higher and higher, through the years. And they were looking for some kind of alternative because the regular job wasn't cutting it. And then the gig economy came out around 2016, 2017. People got onto it, not that many people. And they didn't have that many customers and not that many businesses, partners, restaurant partners for the gig economy. And people were trying out, and they saw this is an alternative to the situation at the time, that this helps a little bit. Because prices have gone up, not to the point they were right now, but they were still high. And with the regular job, they were just making it, pretty much, living from paycheck to paycheck. We're excluding the jobs that you need to have a very good resume with a lot of experience, and if you have a lot of technical experience and a college degree or university experience, university education, there were still jobs out there like that. But even some of those people, there were a few people on that level that they were still having a hard time trying to find a job. But it was a little bit better than it is now. But people that got into the gig economy, they were like, this works. The payouts were better. The distances were better. Less drama, less glitches. There was some stuff that obviously wasn't perfect, but it was a little bit better than doing a regular job at the time. Like working for a regular job, not a high-paying career job. Doing the regular, general jobs that are out there. And they like the idea of making your own hours, work anytime you want, take any amount of days you want to take off. So they got addicted to it. After a while, they got addicted to it. But in the beginning, they saw that this is working a little bit better. It's a good alternative for the time being. But then they stuck to it for so long, and the regular jobs could not keep up. That's the thing. If the regular jobs could be the same, what you make a week with the gig economy, it was the same with the regular jobs, you will not see that much of an influx of gig economy drivers. And I bet you there would have been, if that was the case, there wouldn't be, some of those drivers would probably take a break and go do a regular job again. Because some regular jobs you don't have to drive. Well, meaning that you don't have to drive all day. You have to drive to the work, but you work inside the job instead of driving around for 6, 7, or 8 hours. It put in a toll on mileage and spending that much money on gas and maintenance on your vehicle. So if it was about the same, I think it would have been averaged out, but that's not what happened. The gig economy was ahead with the payout. Well, what you're making every week compared to regular jobs. And it went to a point where things were getting higher and higher, and then we got a little bit of a break for 4 years. So everybody was pretty much on an average. The gig economy and the regular jobs were pretty much on average. Gas prices went down. Things didn't get any higher. They stayed where they were. At least some food prices came down a little bit. And then the thing happened with the pandemic. Then everything just went crazy. After when it was over, it got even crazier. A lot of restaurants shut down. A lot of for sale signs. And then wars were happening. And every year was getting even more and more expensive until here we are in 2024, which was the worst year. It's been the worst year that everybody's hitting with this inflation. A lot of layoffs. A lot of companies are shutting down. They stopped bonuses. A lot of these corporations stopped giving bonuses and incentives to their employees. The vacation pays, they put into a stop. And layoffs on top of that as well. And then they thought of an alternative of raising the minimum wage in New York and in California, which pretty much that's how it should be. But the thing is that the business is saying, well, I'm not making that much money as a store owner. So I did have 10 employees. Now that you raised the minimum wage to 20, now where I had 10 employees, now I'm going to have 5. So I can pay the same. Because I'm not making more to pay more. There's the problem. It affected any state that raised the minimum wage for this year and last year. It affected all that. Because the prices were going up and up and up and up. To the point where we are this year, that the prices have become so ridiculous in certain states though. In certain states, not all the states, but in certain states, and mostly it's like the ocean states and the southern states, the ones that got hit the most. Which is the East Coast, the West Coast, and the southern states. With the exception of Texas, but that flipped around even in Texas because a lot of people migrated, mostly from New York and California, but other states as well, and they moved down to the southern states and created more population. And yes, businesses did move to Texas. A lot of multi-billion-dollar companies from California, they left. They got a better deal in Texas because the money is tight. They went to Texas, they got better incentives, let's say, better bonuses for their business, less burden, less property tax, less this, less that, so they moved there. It gave a rise to a very small amount of people, having jobs. It did added jobs, but then after that happened, after the years, they start laying off those people that they hired when they first opened up in Texas. because you heard the thing with Tesla. The first day they laid off 600 people. The first day. And then I heard the Intel Corporation in my market, in my area, they have this one building that they have. It was 15,000. 15,000 people, just one building in one area. Imagine nationwide what was going on. And what's happening right now, the regular jobs cannot compete. They cannot compete with the situation that's going on right now. It's too expensive. So they're looking to go into the gig economy, but even the gig economy companies themselves, they're feeling the burden of this high inflation and economy that's going on. They'll start reducing their base pays, reducing the payouts, customers reducing their tips. So it's pretty much, no matter where you go right now, with the exception, like I said, with the exception if you have high skill jobs, or college or university, where you can still get yourself somewhere in some kind of office to work at, or some kind of corporation, or some kind of technical situation. There's still some of those jobs around, and they're still happening, but it's not to the point where the population has reached right now, where we are right now. It's not enough for everybody. There's not that much out there for everybody to have a position like that. That's the thing. So everybody's feeling the struggle right now. Everybody. And everything is being affected right now. Everything is being affected. Except for those high 10% of people. The 10%ers that I call, I know some of you remember them as 1%. But I think it's a little more than that. I don't think it's only 1% when it comes to just the United States. Maybe the 1% applies nationwide, worldwide. But I think as far as nationwide here, I think it's about 10%. Those 10%ers are not affected. But for the rest of the people, they're all feeling the effect. So the thing is about when people say, oh, just get a regular job, why you do the gig economy? They're all affected right now. Everything is affected. Everything is in a stand. Everything just stands pretty much, no matter where you go right now, it's not happening. Yeah, let's say you can still find a job, but you're still not making enough there. The gig economy, some markets are killing it. And might be some jobs out there, regular jobs that it's working for them. But in a vast scale, we're talking about in a big number of people, it's not working for everybody. So you guys, you can add to this. You guys can add some other good ideas or some good opinions. What do you guys think about the whole thing? You can put it in the comments. And that's what I think right now. Just like a lot of jobs, like even the automotive companies, they start manufacturing in Mexico. They move their production facilities to Mexico because it's a lot cheaper. So more jobs over there and less for us, and overseas. More jobs overseas and less for us here. And more layoffs. But you guys, you can tell me what's going on in your area. You're free to leave it in the comments. And I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.